I'm always fascinated by what happens in the offseason, especially when you're in the offseason of college football. I never really believe that we have an offseason in college football because the sport is constantly changing. Like, as an example, today the NCAA came out and stated and threatened teams around the country and stating that they are going to start vacating wins, erasing stats, and fining schools who continue to sue in local court over eligibility. Now, normally when we talk about the NCAA on this show, I come out here and I make a big to-do about how wrong they are and how Rudy-poo they are and all of these different things. But I rewind the clock not so long ago when the NCAA went up against the University of Tennessee. And I look at the situation that happened with the University of Tennessee with Nico Iamaleava and how the NCAA tried to step in and make some governance. And everybody seemed at the time to be on the side of Nico Iamaleava, which ultimately I still don't believe that all of those things are in the letter of the law in reference to NIL. But I think two things can always be true at once. I think the one thing that can be true is that when we look at the NCAA, we can hate them. We can think that they are the worst. We can think that everything that they do normally seems to be very wrong. Like, I do not align with them in reference to how they defended men competing in women's sports. It's the only thing political that we talk about on this show, and that I will stand 10 toes down anytime that we mention it. But sometimes when they go after something, they're not wrong. So today they have started to threaten teams that if players continue to sue in federal court, well, we're just not going to make you eligible for situations of things that we can control. We're going to vacate wins. We're going to, not that teams will really worry about that, we're going to erase stats, and we're going to start fining universities and institutions that continue to sue us in open court. They're fighting back. So when we look at this, there's two things that should be true here. Number one, for once, I do back the NCAA in this. There are multiple players in football currently that literally have been playing college athletics since Joe Burrow graced us with the 2019 season. Blake, there ain't no way. Well, ask Joey Aguilar, the Tennessee quarterback. Ask the starting safety from Indiana this year, who is on his 7th year of eligibility. 7th. There's got to start being guardrails. Blake, this has nothing to do with LSU. It doesn't. The entire sport relies around the governance of this sport. The truth of the matter is we have to have governance, some form of governance, whether the NCAA does bad shit, crazy things or not, which they do. We have to find some level of governance. We cannot continue to allow guys like Joey Aguilar to continue to sue the NCAA for eligibility and not back the NCAA, because it still becomes a part of ruining the sport and ruining the things that we hold dear. The truth of the matter is you should be able to play 5 college football seasons. That is it. You have 5 years to play 5 years. And there can be some circumstances, like if a player gets hurt in an offseason, 2 years, he can get a 6-year of eligibility. By all means, do it. But the NCAA is tired of getting sued in local court and losing. They're tired of it. And I think that we have to make a stand. The stand that you and I have to make is a simple one. You can hate the NCAA, As an LSU fan, you can hate the NCAA for what they did to Will Wade. I'm with you there. But at some point, when you're out here bitching, moaning, and complaining, oh my God, oh, and you're bitching and moaning about how college athletics is run, you can't keep going out on Twitter and bitch and moan about eligibility rules, about this and that and other things. And yet when the NCAA tries to do something, you just say, oh man, screw the NCAA. Why? Why? I think the future of our sport, meaning college football, I think the future of college athletics is on a seesaw. And right now, the screws of that seesaw are coming loose. And if we don't tighten those screws quickly, the whole damn seesaw is going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart. Well, Blake, that's a college football thing. Is it really? Charles Bediako got to play for Alabama this season. Now, luckily, a judge finally made a ruling and said he couldn't play. But as we're in the heart of baseball season, I will throw this your way. Joey Aguilar just sued the NCAA in a Tennessee court and likely may win another year of eligibility. He likely is going to win it. So when you look at college baseball and what Joey Aguilar is suing over, which is, by the way, just in case you don't know, the Tennessee quarterback is suing the NCAA and stating that his JUCO seasons didn't matter. That's what he's stating here, is that those don't count to the eligibility that he should have in D1 football. Can you imagine what kids around college athletics and college baseball will do? All of these kids that don't play will go to a JUCO and then go to college baseball or a D1 program. It's what they will do if this passes. It's what they're going to do. Can you imagine a 6-year player in baseball? Because that's what's coming here. That's what's coming. And if we don't nip this in the bud now, as much as college athletics is all chaos, my brothers and sisters in Christ Almighty, it will get worse. So you can hate the ends. Here's what I think the dumbest argument on planet Earth is. That people don't want to back the NCAA when they're actually doing something right. 7-year guys should not be playing college football. Guys like Joey Aguilar, who have been in college football since Joe Burrow was at LSU, should not have the ability to play sports in college. They shouldn't. Diego Pavia should not have 7 years of eligibility. We have to back them. It doesn't, I don't like that the NCAA, like I have to come out here and say that the NCAA is right in something because I despise them as an institution. Literally, I despise them as an institution. But guys, we got to make a stand somewhere. If we don't have governance, then what do we have? These guardrails have got to start being put in place. We got to start having rules. You can't just sue your way to getting whatever you want. The cat is literally out of the bag. And the NCAA is trying and asking for help for that cat to get back in the bag. At what point are we going to help them and assist them to get this back on track? Nevertheless, we're live. Everyone do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Todd Davis says that Diego Pavia, the Vandy QB, won. He did. He did. We got to have guardrails, guys. Like, I see a lot of people on social media that I respect, like really respect, saying, screw the NCAA. Well, why? Like, maybe I'm just a weirdo. Yes, I am a weirdo. but maybe I'm a weirdo. Like, I can look at different situations and come to a different conclusion based off of what is the actual, just truth of the matter. Guys, a broken clock is wrong 2 times a day. It's still right, though, 2 times a day. Even though it is wrong, all the others. But it bothers me. It really bothers me because I see people that I respect going out there and saying, oh man, we need governance. We need governance. And finally someone steps up. Someone steps up to the plate. And then everybody's just like, screw that guy. Okay? Well, then you get no governance then. The alternative of letting the wild, wild west continue does not outweigh the hatred that you should have for the NCAA. Because here's the truth. Will Wade might be coming back to LSU for all we know. As the next men's basketball, he could be coming back to LSU for the next LSU men's basketball coach for all that we know. At the time, he still broke the rules. And I can live with how this whole situation went down if he comes back. What I hate is that I look at the NCAA and say, if we don't have guidance, guys, by far, we're going to have a lot of things broken. All right, we got a couple of super chats in here. Howard McNeely sent a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Howard. I greatly appreciate you doing that. Jesse O'Neill with a $5 super chat says, Blake, saw your debate, quote unquote, on Crane and Company. Blake, you didn't have to school a boy like that. He has a family, but you let it be known, don't come half-cocked. Don't come half-cocked at your boy. Don't do it. Guys, that is my wheelhouse, right? Like, that is my wheelhouse. Debating and arguing and coming with facts is my wheelhouse. Don't do it. Don't do it. I am hard-headed. I try to present as all the facts as I know them. And it's like Ole Miss fans don't have a reasoning, right? Like, they keep coming at, what's your reasoning? What is your reasoning behind all of this? So, I like Brad a lot. Do I feel like I won the debate? Yes, but who wouldn't? I just think that they are overlooking gross situations like Pete Golding and giving up all the points that he did, and they're blaming everything on Lane and Trinidad Chambliss. Like, brother, it was a stacked deck. But I've known Jake Crane. I've known Jake Crane 7 years now, I think. 7 or 8 years. And we talk a lot, and I love him. I love David. I love Blaine. I love Brad. I mean, we're all friends at the end of the day. We talk all the time. And so I appreciate them for having me on and look to redoing that with them and having them on as well. Get Gooder, who's been a member for 3 months. He says another month. Let's go. I'm glad that a member did comment here. So we recorded some members-only content today. Just have had a lot going on. Not an excuse. We tried to upload it, and it was taking forever. We will have members-only content published tomorrow at 9 a.m. So we recorded it today. It just, a lot of things happened, and it took forever, and I don't really know what was going on. But I'm advised by the team here. Brandon, am I wrong? Okay, well, we're hoping it's up at 9 a.m. It's still uploading, apparently. Well, we're anticipating having members-only content up at 9 a.m. So we apologize about that. There's literally nothing that we can do at the current moment. But we have it out there, and if not, we'll make it up to you twice next week. Brandon's going to get it up there by 9 a.m. He can't sleep until then. Doug Knows with a $10 super chat says, when was the last time an ineligible player for grades or failed a drug test? If the NCAA declares someone ineligible, just ban them from the postseason if they play. So it's a really interesting point. Drug tests normally go through the institutions and schools, but you're right. I have not seen a player fail or ineligible for grades in a very, 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 very long time. Because the reason being, Doug, is the way that I understand it. Again, on this part, Doug, I am willing to be wrong here because I don't know. The way that I understand it, however, is that if a university deems the player eligible through their university, there's really nothing the NCAA can do anymore. That's the way that I understand it. In reference to postseason bans, you could do that for baseball. You could do that for basketball. You could do it for women's basketball. You can do it for all the sports that the NCAA is over for the postseason. For the main sport in college football, you can't do that because the college football playoff is its own third-party entity. So the NCAA can ban a player, but what are you going to do? Because, like, even if the player is eligible or ineligible, the college football playoff it's not under the guardrails of them. It's not under the guardrails. When we went to a playoff format that did not include the NCAA, all hell really did break loose there. So you can make them ineligible, but what are they going to do about it? And what are you going to fine them? Right? Like, if they sue somebody again in open court, they'll just sue and they'll pay the fine. This is horrible to put on this player, knock on wood that, God forbid, I'm not putting it on him. If Harlan Berry goes off this year and for whatever reason's ineligible and they fine LSU $250,000, do you think that they'll pay it? I mean, of course they will. Of course they will. It's just we got to start getting these guardrails back on place, and I don't know how else we're going to do it. All right. Nevertheless, we're live. Do us a favor. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We do greatly appreciate it. You can become a member as well. We need to get to a quick break, and we got a weekend full of baseball that we need to break down. We will not be live tomorrow. So normally we do post games. We will not be live after tomorrow's post game. On Saturday, however, we will be live after that post game and potentially Sunday as well. But we will be live for Saturday. So you can join us there. So when we come back, we're going to break down the weekend that is. There is a position group that I am hearing for LSU football that is starting to really, really start to shape itself in reference to a battle. We'll talk about that. And thoughts, questions, concerns. We'll get to those as well here tonight. Every AYS Sports Show is brought to our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Use your mobile device when you do so. When you download the FD Sportsbook app, you can place bets on there, like you can place a bet on Sam Levitt, plus 1,300 to win the Heisman Trophy. I always recommend and ask for all of you to please bet responsibly because, guys, do not, if you're not going to bet responsibly, don't do it at all. But please bet responsibly. Set your preferences over at FanDuel.com/RG, and you also can get more details there as well. Let me get to a quick break. We got a big baseball weekend that we got to get to. We do that next. Stay with us. Brandon.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi, So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick.
We're back.
All right. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. We always do. All right. I think we're better now. There we go. There we go. Let's get to a couple. I see a massive super chat in here. Brandon, can we get Gooder's super chat up? Thank you. Get Gooder with a $50 super chat, a massive super chat. My man, appreciate you. He says, I watched that debate, and this is going to sound weird, but for a second there, I thought you took the shape of a unicorn. I think I did. I think Jake and them have a really good segment going on there and having these level of debates. And again, like I said, this is my wheelhouse. I mean, it seems like a lot of LSU people thought that I won, but because of course, and I'm sure Ole Miss people thought Brad won. But in reference to me taking the presence of a unicorn, what is it? What? Not that's not how. I mean, call me a unicorn then. Nay. All right. This has gone a little too far. But thank you for the super chat. Look, I love. Look, that's why Rufino and Joe show is the way that it is. That's why me and Joe debate all the time, because I like it and I think it's fun, and I think that there's a reason that Rufino and Joe's doing what it's doing. It's a reason why it's doing what it's doing, because it's a debate show, and if we agree, we're normally pretty spot on, and we debate a lot. So it is what it is. Get Gooder, you're my man. I always appreciate you being a part of the show. All right, let's get to the weekend that is. So LSU takes on 3 different opponents here. They'll take on Indiana, Notre Dame, and UCF. I wanted to give a brief overview about what I think this weekend could look like. Now, watched a lot of Indiana versus North Carolina over the weekend. Watched a lot of Notre Dame against Florida Atlantic this weekend. Watched UCF against Miami in a thriller of a game this past Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever it was, the other night, and watched how really scrappy I thought that they were. And I just kind of wanted to preview a little bit, kind of more on like the LSU side and the opponents that you're facing here. So it was announced today, John Eads put it on Twitter, that Casey Evans, Cooper Moore, and are going to be your Friday and Saturday starters, and then Sunday's TBD. I'm assuming that most will believe, and what very well could happen here is that William Schmidt just throws on Sunday. And that very, very well could happen. Jay always wants to keep his options open based on what is happening through the weekend. Like as an example, if you face off against Notre Dame on Saturday and you start off with Cooper Moore and you have the ability to bring in William Schmidt to get a win, to go 2-1 potentially, or 3-0, however this scenario plays out, maybe he does that. Kind of to the extent how he utilized Anthony Ianson out of the pen last year. Maybe that is in his forefront. Maybe Jay comes out and just says, hey, because we don't know the philosophy of what UCF is going to do, we want to kind of hold off there. Maybe Cooper Williams just depending on how the weekend plays out. I have no idea what is on his mind. William Schmidt will pitch this weekend. If you had to ask me my opinion, I would assume he would go on Sunday, but I have no idea. But you have the option open if you ultimately need it. So Casey Evans is going to get his second start as your lead Friday night guy, or Friday day guy in this scenario, and we'll go up against Indiana. I'm really excited to see Casey Evans in game 2 here, because I think he wants to right some of the wrongs that he had on opening day. How does he develop? How does he get better? We all know what Casey Evans possesses. We all know how good he can be and how good he is right now. Love that he gets the chance again. Get to see Cooper Moore again. There's nothing that Jay or John post out there that surprises me about what your rotation is going to be. But looking forward to your opponents here, let's start off with game 1 against Indiana. Normally in situations like this, we would go through their lineup, we would go through their pitching staff, but you're not in a 3-game weekend series. You're only playing 1 game against them. Going back and watching Indiana, who is 1-3 on the season, whether it was their midweek game or it's the weekend series that they had versus North Carolina. What I see early on in the season from Indiana is a team that has talent all over the place. The problem is that it felt like that they were way too clunky and way too tight in critical situations. In game 1 versus North Carolina, they were in a dogfight with them. They were in a dogfight all the way into the end of the game, and then the bullpen really unraveled, and they gave up 6 runs in an inning, and they wind up losing. Now, game 2, the wheels completely fell off, and when the wheels completely fell off, they got dominated. But then in the game 3, they were leading North Carolina 3-1 in the ninth, and with the bases loaded and 2 outs, a very weak ground ball has hit the second base, and the second baseman had the yips and committed an error, and they tied the game, and North Carolina would ultimately win. So I look at the game in opening weekend against North Carolina, who was a top 10 team nationally, a really, really good program, and I see 2 games where Indiana was right there with them and battled. They had a really bad inning in game 1, a really bad inning in game 3. So who are they really? Well, we're going to find out on Friday or tomorrow who they really are. But I see a team that can swing it well. I see a team that has a lot of experience. I see a team that has some potential in their frontline starters. But once you get to their bullpen, as multiple times happened in the first couple of games, the first 4 games that they've played, it's really unraveled for them. When the moment got big for them, they unraveled. And I do wonder, can you put that same level of pressure on them? I feel as if that is your specialty. Like, I feel like your specialty is seeing a lot of pitches, battling at the plate. And as the game wears on, you continue to just put pressure and pressure and pressure all on them to when they ultimately break. This is not a bad team. You'd look at the record and say, well, Blake, they got swept by North Carolina. They're 1-3. Sure. But I see a team that is very experienced, has a lot of talent, but it looked like a team that hadn't been in the field all offseason. And maybe they haven't with the weather that is in Indiana. Maybe going against North Carolina was the first time that they had been in that situation where it's not freezing cold and the ground's not frozen to where they can feel ground balls and really kind of get this thing moving into the season. They're a good ball club. You are more talented than them. You have a deeper bullpen than them, and you have a better starter than them. But baseball is baseball. So I wrap this up with Indiana in stating, you're going to go into a game against a team who took a top 10 opponent nationally, and gave them everything that they wanted and more in multiple games. You're going up against a team, excuse me, in Indiana who has shown the perplexity that when runners are in scoring position, they can get the base hit against top-level pitching and a top-level opponent. Now, I don't think that North Carolina is a better team than you, talent-wise, but I don't think that they're so far off that it's not like, guys, they deserve being a top 10 team. And Indiana had them on the ropes twice. Had them on the ropes and let them off. The question is if Indiana rights those wrongs and they don't commit the errors that they had versus North Carolina, if their bullpen doesn't unravel the way that they did, if their bullpen doesn't allow the amount of walks that they did in games 1 and games 3, do they have a shot? Now, I feel like for all 3 of these opponents, a lot of the same could be said. Like a lot of their losses, whether it's Notre Dame's loss in game 1 versus Florida Atlantic, whether it's UCF's loss versus Miami, the truth of the matter is their bullpen's completely unraveled. So when we talk about this LSU bullpen as an example, you think that's unraveling? Boy, you should look at some of these other teams and what really unraveling looks like. But I do think that Indiana's going to give you a very tough battle. They gave one to North Carolina. Why would I expect anything less from a lot of experienced players that are on their team? I think they're really well coached. I think that they did some things against North Carolina that I'm like, man, somebody forgot to tell them that they're on the road against a top 10 opponent. I just feel like that overall you're more talented and that you can take it to them. And if they continue to commit some of the errors that mentally and physically that they have, then you'll be fine here. Game 2, you go up against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 2-1 on the season, coming off of a series against Florida Atlantic. Guys, they can swing it, man. They can swing it. When I saw Indiana and saw some of the games that they played, and Brandon, you missed the Indiana one. You were there for Notre Dame. So Brandon and I were talking about this today. Guys, they really are competitive at the plate. Now, they're going to be going up against Cooper Moore. It's going to be really interesting to see how competitive they are at the plate against a guy that really in game 1 showed that he can be a top-level guy. I don't really know what to make of Notre Dame right now because I don't know if Florida Atlantic is any good. Now, in game 1, the game that they lost, I don't even know how to explain it. They lost 7-1. And it was just utter chaos after utter chaos. They walked so many guys, and they couldn't hit for shit. But they turned around in games 2 and games 3, and something started to click. Their bullpen wasn't giving up the free passes that they were. They started when Florida Atlantic was leaving pitches over the heart of the plate, they were tattooing them. I don't really know what to expect from them. I do think as well, they are a team that has a lot of experience and a lot of talent. But, man, I just don't know about their bullpen. I don't know about some of their rotation guys. Because when I look at Notre Dame in the 3-game series, I have a game where they gave up 7 walks. I have a game where they gave up 8 walks. I have a game where they gave up 9 walks. This is a team that seems as if that they have pieces in the field and guys that you will see at the plate. The problem that seemed for them and that plagued them in game 1 was that if you're patient enough, they're going to put you on. Again, which feels like the LSU specialty. Seeing a lot of pitches, not swinging at pitches out of the zone, and something that you've done very effectively, whether it's Zach York, Dardar, Jake Brown, you name it, and those guys have done it. I don't know what to make of them. I see a team that, quite frankly, I'm not going to say that I think that you should dominate. But, guys, I think of all 3 of these opponents, watch, this is going to be the game that you lose, knock on wood. I think that they are the opponent when I look at them in the first 3 games, that I'm like, okay, this might be a matchup where you can extend yourself. Now, watch that not happen. Watch what Blake Griffino is saying is completely fugazi here. But I look at the 3 teams that you're facing, and I don't want to rank them, so to speak, but I like what I saw from Indiana. Like, if I was an Indiana baseball fan going on the road, you don't ever want to get swept. But, man, you battled with a top 10 team on the road. You battled. And you're literally an out away from winning a game, and you're a bullpen of having the biggest catastrophic inning that you could have in losing game 1 on the road on opening day. I look at Notre Dame and say, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't really put my thumb on them early in the season. So, Cooper Moore starts game 2. They have some experience at the plate. If you can work the guy that will start in game 2 for them, if you can work them and get them to their bullpen quickly, sky is the limit to you, because I don't think they can compete with you there. All right. Your third opponent is UCF. And I really like what I saw from UCF too. UCF went on the road this week and almost clipped Miami. Guys, of any team that you will see this weekend, I think they can swing it the best. My question for UCF when you face off against them on Sunday is 2 things. Number 1, what do they look like from a bullpen perspective? What do they look like from a starting perspective? And do they have enough guys that they haven't been able or they haven't utilized already to get to a game 3 to where, like, yeah, man, I mean, we were just depleted at the mound and we went up against LSU and we got beat. Guys, they can swing it. They can swing it now. Do not be surprised if on game 3, when you're going up against UCF, that they're not swinging it at a very high rate. You know, this thought came to my mind today when watching UCF and taking notes about what we're going to be prepared to talk about today. Remember in 2023 when you faced off against Sam Houston and you run-ruled them? You would wind up facing Sam Houston later down the road in your own regional. Remember how good that team hit? Remember how scrappy that team was? They just didn't have the arms. They did not have the arms. I look at this UCF program and like, you better not play around with them on Sunday. You better get in there, get your runs, get out of there. Because we saw them against Miami. Guys, every big moment, every single big moment in that game versus a top 25 opponent, when they needed to deliver, they delivered. The problem with them is that they hit 4 straight batters to tie the game, and they couldn't throw a strike to save their life. They go into a 13th inning or 13-inning game with Miami, and they left the ball out over the heart of the plate to the one guy that they cannot do that to on that Miami roster. And, oh, wait. There goes the baseball old boy hit right there. It's still going. But they can swing it. They can flat out swing it. So, we've kind of briefly talked about these 3 opponents. How do I wrap this all in the bow? The truth of the matter is number 1, you are more talented than all the teams that you will face off against this weekend. You have the better staff on the mound. You have the better bullpen. And quite frankly, you have the better position pieces. But I will remind you that you did the same last year and had all of that in your bag when you went off and faced off against Nebraska, when you faced off against Kansas State, and you got in dog fights with those two. Do not take these teams lightly. Don't take Indiana lightly, who, what if they correct their wrongs very quickly and don't have the same amount of errors that they did against North Carolina and they don't have them against you? Well, if that happens, you might very well be in a dogfight with them. Notre Dame's the team where, guys, I just come out here and shrug my shoulders and say, I don't know. I simply just do not know what to expect from them. Because if you get to their bullpen, they're going to walk you if you allow them to. But UCF as well, man, if you play around with them and you leave the ball elevated and you leave the ball up in the zone, they're going to rock the shit out of it. They are that scrappy. They are a good, they're not mid-major anymore. They are a good, solid Big 12 team. So you got to go there and be yourself. Some of the mistakes that you had, whether it was against Nichols, whether some of the pitches that you left up in the zone against Milwaukee, Kent State, or Nichols, you can't do that against some of these teams. You certainly can't do that against UCF. And the way that Indiana performed against North Carolina, you can't do it there either. I think that you should go 3-0. That is my expectation for you. But baseball is baseball is baseball. I remember when Paul Skeens and company lost to Iowa. Everybody remember that? Just because you lose a game doesn't mean that you're not a national title contender. But this is going to be an interesting weekend. If you come out of this weekend 3-0, it's going to be an interesting conversation piece to have. I think that you can. I think that you should. I think that you would feel very comfortable if you did. But I think you got a little dogfight on your hands. You know, like Kent State, you know, before we played Kent State, I remember coming out here and saying, hey, man, don't play around with them. They're a good little mid-major ball club. They got a lot of talent. And you beat them 10-7. Same with UCF. Same with Indiana. And we'll find out what we need to find out about Notre Dame. All right. When we come back, we'll get to some more Super Chats, thoughts, questions, concerns. Have some quick football things that we need to discuss as well. Let me get to a quick break. We'll get to that next. Stay with us. When your business, your farm, or your equipment needs fuel, you need someone that you can trust. At Crump Fuel, they deliver quality gasoline, diesel, and lubricants with honest service and local pride across South Louisiana and South Mississippi. From construction sites, marinas, convenience stores, and trucking companies, all the way down to generators and everyday operations, Crump Fuel keeps you rolling. Crump Fuel is family-owned and family-operated. With high-quality and dependable delivery, they're always going to bring that competitive pricing. Call Crump Fuel today at 985-229-4976 or visit them over at crumpfuel.com. That's 985-229-4976 or visit them at crumpfuel.com today. Crump Fuel, where they're fueling the Gulf South in the right way. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month, and also doing those $99 tune-up promotion. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamAir.com, where your comfort is their top priority. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
We're back.
Let's get to some super chats here. Lucas with a $5 super chat says, do you think LSU will win a national championship with Lane? Yes, I do. I don't know when. I don't know how. But yes, I do. Here's how I view things, Lucas, for me. I never expect a new sitting head coach to come in year one and win a national title or even really to make the playoffs. I know that people will be like, well, you spent a lot of money, you better make the playoffs. Yeah, like I understand that argument and logic. However, like I think that's too much to put on them at this exact moment. But if you do continue to do that, guys, if Lane, the expectation for you every single year should be in the college football playoff. Do I think that you have the resources and the ability to win a national title? I do. I think he's a really good coach that has been there and won multiples as an assistant and knows what it takes to get there. It's only a matter of time before he does it. And I hope that it's here. And I think that it will be. I think that it will be. So, yes, I do. Penn Jones with a $10 super chat says, some Ole Miss shows are so delusional, they actually saying Golding told Watkins to hit the portal. That's not true. Because he probably won't see the field due to lack of talent. Let's just say that's hypothetically true. It's not, but let's just say that's hypothetically true. Then Pete Golding's an idiot. Who won you the game versus Oklahoma? Because it wasn't your damn defense. It wasn't. I mean, here's the argument that I have. They make it seem like Pete Golding ran everything and that all of the problems were Lane's. Like when they lost, it was all Lane's fault. But then they crowned Pete Golding the portal king. Okay, well then why didn't he do shit defensively? Okay. Winnie Watkins doesn't have the talent. You mean it? Then you thinking that you know more about offensive football more than Lane Kiffin makes you look like a dumbass. It's what it makes you look like. Not Pete, but whoever said that. They are delusional. They're very delusional. I mean, delusion is one of the 5 stages of depression. Delusion. And they are delusional. They're delusional. Good on them for being delusional. But they're idiots. If they're you know, I've gotten in a lot. Let me just say this. I've gotten a lot of controversy over my very strong views and opinions. some that have not benefited me at all. You know, guys, like there are LSU fans that hate my godforsaken guts for whatever reason. Maybe because I'm just hard-headed and come off in a way that people don't like me. Sounds good. Sorry that they don't. I wish that they would, but they don't. But like last year, like how many times were we in here saying, and people were yelling at me saying I was wrong about Garrett? Oh, he doesn't. It's practice interceptions or just practice interceptions. And you fucking thought that those weren't going to translate over to a game? Like, do you know how dumb you sound? Do you understand how dumb you sound? A guy's constantly throwing picks in practices his first year as a starter, and you thought he wasn't going to go out there and do it in the game. It's all the O-line's fault. The O-line didn't throw the ball into triple coverage. They didn't do anything to him at A&M. Those A&M interceptions were on his own. Took a lot of criticism over that. But at least it was real. They think that Pete Golding and company could do no wrong. None. Like, even with Lane, the whole situation with Sam Levitt, it's like, hey, man, you let him walk, so you better either land him or you better land Damon Williams. You got to be real. You can't be fake. Just because it's something that you don't want to hear doesn't mean it's not real. And that is the problem that sometimes fan bases have. A guy who's a talking head says something that's very rational and very opinionated. And they're like, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, it's true. You just don't want to hear it. Get Gooder with a $5 super chat says, I take pride using Will Ferrell quotes that work in super chats. Hi, man. You can send super chats all you want using Will Ferrell quotes. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. I'm not going to complain. I was texting a friend of mine. Started to become really good friends with him over the last week, 3 or 4 weeks. And it's just like, I sent him did we just become best friends? Big things happening for AYS and Ruffino and Joe show in 2026. At least I hope so. So we'll see. But send as many as you want. It won't bother me a none. So there was a question that was posed today, which prompted me to start making some phone calls. And I don't even need my notebook for this. So there was a question earlier today for the members-only content about position battles. And you're going to hear this in the members-only content tomorrow. But I need to kind of, because I started making some phone calls on it, I kind of want to bring this up. Guys, one of the most intriguing battles this offseason for LSU football is at wide receiver. I think that the staff, I think that the administration looks at that wide receiver room as potentially a gold mine because of so many high-level guys that you have in that room. Like your 7th or 8th wide receiver may be Corey Barber, who's a 5-star. Your 7th or 8th receiver may be Jabari Mack, who, if you talk to anybody in the training world in LSU, they have high expectations on Jabari Mack. There is a feeling that if that's the level of talent that you have right now at your 7 and 8 guys, what does 1 through 6 look like? Who is the starting 4 wide receivers for this team? I think we have some assumption. Like, I think Eugene Wilson's going to play a big factor in it. I think Trey Brown and Jace Brown are going to play big factors. I think Jackson Harris is going to play a big factor. I think Winnie Watkins is going to play a big factor. And I just feel as if that everybody is sleeping on and forgetting about Phillip Wright. but competition breeds success. You know, I feel like last year we had a conversation about this defense. You brought in a lot of talented guys. You brought in Mansour Delane. So what did that mean for a guy like P.J. Woodland? Well, P.J. either is going to sit down and not get better, or he's going to put in all the work that he can, and he's going to get better, and he developed and he got better, and look at how high of a development he had. I think of Deshaun Spears, right? I think of Deshaun Spears in the situation that was, hey, man, it was your sophomore year, your former top 50 guy, and two guys started ahead of you, and one of them was an All-American. And then he went off, and you saw the development right in front of your eyes. And in the bowl game, you saw him all over the place against Houston. You look at things that happen in the interior of your defensive line. I thought your interior defensive line played very well this past season, and Don McKinley's going to have to pick it up. At wide receiver this season, and by the way, you had one of the best DB rooms in the country. It made DJ Pickett better. It made everybody around you better. So when that competition level went up, everybody had to go put in the work. And if you didn't, you just weren't going to play. And some guys that I do feel intended that they thought that they would didn't come close to seeing the field. And that's why Ashton Stamps enters the portal. With that being said, I feel that same way with your wide receiver room. I love Chris Hilton. I love Barian Brown. I love Nick Anderson. I do. I have no ill will towards any of them. None. But I feel like your wide receiver room is more talented and more explosive. I think Jace Brown is a potential borderline, could be household name superstar. I do. But because of that, it's making Winnie Watkins. It's making Eugene Wilson. It's making Jackson Harris. It's making all of these dudes work their ever-living asses off. Like, listen, and producer Brandon would tell you, if you were on this phone and you listened to some of these conversations that were happening, what would be happening to the people that we talk to is like, dude, we have no idea who's going to be our starting wide receivers. But what we do know is very simple. The guys that rise to the top are going to be really freaking good. That room continues to be the talking point over and over and over again. Will it be? Can it be? Is it going to live up to the potential that it can be? I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that everybody that I seem to talk to continues to bring it up. So who is your starting wide receiver room going to be? I don't know. I have no clue. Nor am I going to give an opinion, because I can make an argument for a lot of these guys. However, I'm going to make a statement that I might walk back. Do I think you have the potential to have a top 3 wide receiver room in the SEC? Without a shadow of a doubt. I think you're going to be that good. I think Jackson Harris is someone that everybody's just sleeping on just because, because he was at Hawaii, and no one understands how good he can freaking be. So we'll see here. We'll see. All right, we got a super chat before we get out of here. Joshua with a $5 super chat says, hey, brother, just wanted to let you know you made Brad look JV last night. Go Tigers, hashtag just different. Well, I appreciate that. I guess. I like Brad. It was a very fun debate. A very, very fun debate. And I hope I get to do it again. It was fun. So Joshua Clemens, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And facts will always beat people in debates. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, no, we won't. We'll see you Saturday. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace.